My name is Noni Matikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to look at Zwide Galanga took this mic and he was like, I'm not here to play with you people. Angidlali ke mna ke. Uqonde ngqo kuko konke to an extent that he got Judge Ratha very uncomfortable. Zwide Galanga got Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng very, very uncomfortable. And I'm here for it, Kesan. Let me take you through it because Sana, the things that happened in that courtroom are unmatched. Kesana Izolo. Izolo was just one of those great days. Izolo was one of those great days, Kesana. Izolo was one of those great days. I don't care who says what, he comes from where. Zwide Galanga made sure I am going to frustrate the state, which is Baloyi and Sibanda, including the judge, and he dealt with them. Oh, he dealt with them, Kesana, because Judge Ratha got very uncomfortable and he could not even hold it together anymore. He started spiraling out of control and did what he does mostly, run away. He said, what's the time? It's 20 past. He was like, let's adjourn. Let's adjourn. Because what? They would shisa endlini. Now, let's get to what Zwide Galanga did yesterday because, my goodness, the cell phone bomb is not just doing Iran. It's Iran, Iraq, America, Israel, Ukraine. Hey, zonke ezindawo zikwayo. That's what it's doing, Sanalam. The entire situation of the cell phone bombshell that the state witnesses collapsed under cross-examination about no record was there, no report was there, no phone. It left the Senzo Meyiwa case in a trial shock, Kesana. And also the state cell phone evidence fell apart live in court. And the question that remains, who found the phone? That bomb was one of the bombs that the witness could not answer right there on the spot. And Nxumalo was like, I am going to make you admit to things, whether you like it or not. Mind you, he was coming from Uram Sipile, who made him admit a lot of things. Now, let's get into this. Now, this is one of those moments the state never anticipated. They never expected. A simple question, a simple answer. But what came out of it in that courtroom of Judge Ratha yesterday, oh my God, it bombs. The first one, there was no record. The second one, there was no report. The third one, now it was the possibly no proof that the cell phone ever came from the accused. And this is not something small. This is a foundation of this so-called cell phone evidence against Untanzi. It's shaking in its boots. Now, yesterday was about, in fact, we were deep inside the cross-examination phase in the Senzo Meyiwa trial because those lawyers were not playing. We had to zoom in. The defense zoomed in on one thing, the cell phone evidence, not the data of it, not the analysis, but something even more dangerous for the state case. Where did that cell phone actually came from was the question. Where did the cell phone, the so-called cell phone that they keep referring to, came from? Now, there was one question that changed everything. The advocate went straight into, did you receive any report from your members that a cell phone was found from the accused? Simple question, direct question, deadly from Advocate Nxumalo. And the answer went exclusive, Kesan. The answer went exclusive. The witness says no. No. And I'm sure in a situation like that, they would be talking, be like, oh, guys, there's a cell phone that who was searching, because someone would be looking who was working that day. When did this witness come in, etc. Do you understand? So no report, no confirmation, no clarity, and just like that, no report, no confirmation, no clarity, and just like that, the entire courtroom shifted, Kesan. Things went left. Things went left because everything shifted in that moment. Now, why is all of that very much? Oh, it's a massive situation. It's massive. It's a massive situation. Now, let's slow down because this is where the people miss the importance of it all. If the state says this phone belongs to accused number 2, this phone links them to the crime, then legally they must prove who found the cell phone, where it was found, when it was found, who handled the entire situation, where it was booked. That is called chain of custody. And today, as we sit here, we still don't have that. That chain started breaking Kesana Izolo in court, link by link. Do you understand? Now, there's an issue of the register where the state is bleeding very much. The defense didn't stop there. They went into the SEPS system. SEPS 13 exhibits, SEPS 14 cells, SEPS 10 OB, which is occurrence book, SEPS 22 property. And they asked, show us where this cell phone was recorded. Silence, confusion, deflection. Now, there was a nuclear moment again in that time. The witness could not point to any OB entry, any SEPS 13 entry, any clear record that this phone came from the accused. Let that sink in. Now, this was not random questioning. This was precision attack from Onxumalo because the defense is building one argument. This phone is not properly linked to our client. And if that succeeds, the state so-called corroboration collapses in real time. Now, the real danger for the state, let's escalate all of this. Let's get to the danger for the state. Now it gets worse because the witness also said he does not know who found the cell phone. He does not know who handled it. He did not receive any report about it. So now the question becomes, who introduced this phone into the case? Who introduced this phone into the case? And mind you, this phone happened in Valeria police station. This man, Colonel Taco, yes, Colonel Taco was and is the station commander for Valeria police station, and he doesn't know all of these details. He doesn't know all of these things. Now, let's deal with the reality check. This is not a small contradiction. This is not memory failure from his side. This is procedural gap, and in law, procedure is everything. Now, there was something else that Onxumalo did there. Because if the defense pushes this correctly, they can argue the phone is unreliable evidence, the origin is uncertain, the handling is unverified. And once that door opens, the court may start asking, can we trust this evidence at all? And the judge question. He has to ask this question. Now, the state is in trouble, guys. This is where the state now is exposed because they were relying on cell phone data, location links, communication records. But all of that depends on one thing, that the phone actually came from the accused. And yesterday, that link cracked big time. Now, let me say this very clearly. This one, this was not just a cross-examination from Onxumalo. This was damage control exposure because the witness didn't just fail to help the state. He distanced himself from the evidence. And when a state witness starts doing that, because this guy is from SEPS, yes, who's a defense, but he's from SEPS. He's from SEPS. You don't have a strong case, you have a crumbling foundation. Now, that is what Ubaloyi is stressing about sitting there. If this is how the chain of evidence looks, the chain of custody looks like, then the big question is coming. What else in this case is not properly recorded? Now, drop your thoughts below, Gesana, because I want to hear from you, because this trial is far from over, and today we may have just in the beginning of a serious collapse, and we don't care about how Baloyi, Rata, and whoever else is feeling about it. The bottom line is, it is what it is, and things are not looking good. So what are your thoughts when it comes to this? I want us to talk in the comment section. I want to hear you, your views, and LS. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.